Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing something a bit different, which is I'm going to be focusing today's video on my buddy TJ Ferreira, who, as many of you probably know, if you're following his channel as well, which you probably are because he has many more viewers than I do. He has been taking a bit of a break lately from making YouTube videos because he is focusing on some family activities and just kind of laying low for the time being, but he'll be back in swing soon enough, making his regular YouTube videos, I'm sure. But in the meantime, I thought maybe some of you might be missing your regular TJ fix. So today I'm going to try and remedy that at least a little bit by reading from this magazine, which is the Next magazine, for which TJ contributes a regular article called TJ's Corner. So just to give you a bit of a heads up, I have not gotten permission from either Chris Wilkins, who publishes this magazine, nor from TJ himself, so hopefully it's okay with both of them that I go ahead and read this month's submission from TJ for this Next magazine article. But before I do that, I just wanted to point out that I'm wearing TJ's You Bastard shirt, which I'm sure many of you already own, as well as I've adorned it with a couple new gifts that I've received from Brett Pritchard, and he was kind enough to send me a couple pins. This is his logo here for Baptist Arcade, hopefully you can see that, as well as one of his other YouTube channels, represented by this pin here, which is What's Next. And if you're not already familiar with Brett Pritchard and Baptist Arcade and all the channels that he runs, be sure and check them out on YouTube as well. So I want to thank Brett for sending me these cool pins, as well as the other goodies that he sent me. So let's go ahead and get started reading TJ's most recent article in Next magazine. And to do that, I just need to flip to page 18. So I haven't even read this article myself yet, so it's going to be a surprise for both of us. And I just hope there's not too much swearing in here, knowing how TJ likes to put things, but maybe in print he doesn't swear quite so much. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so here it is, and let's go ahead and get started. It starts off with a little introduction here that says, I had a very restful sleep last night for the first time in a long while. The reason? I finally went to bed at a reasonable hour instead of staying up playing with my Specky Next. That thing is definitely not conducive to getting a good night's sleep, which is true. Initially, I had planned to write an article where I revealed the secret of how I got the idea for my original Invasion of the Cloud People game, but I've decided to keep that one for myself. Even a horde of wild Commodore fanatics couldn't drag it out of me. Not that I would be associating with them anyway. Just kidding, and then in brackets it says, sort of. Instead, I've decided to share some even more valuable secrets that I hope will help my readers resist the seductive siren call of the Specky Next, tempting you to stay up all hours of the night stroking its sexy black keys. We need to ensure our computing hobby maintains its role as a casual pastime and doesn't take over our lives. After all, it's just a hobby. That would be like buying a goldfish and having to take it out for walks multiple times a day. Can you imagine? And then he lists, looks like a bunch of different secrets here that he's sharing with us. And it says secret number 1. Put your Specky Next away in its original box when not in use and store this box in another room, far from where you normally hang out. Placing it on a shelf that is high up and hard to reach is particularly effective. In fact, the more difficult it is to get at, the better. Out of sight, out of mind. Don't even think about leaving it set up permanently in your man/woman cave or on a nearby desk. That is a recipe for disaster, not to mention lack of sleep. That quick 15 minutes of just one more level of Invasion of the Cloud People rapidly turns into 3 hours in the blink of an eye. Do yourself a favor and avoid the temptation altogether. Secret number 2. Store the power supply separately from the computer, making it even more troublesome to set up when you get that urge to play Captain Squarejaw when you can't sleep at 3 a.m. I've heard of that game and it looks really cool, but I haven't actually tried the demo yet. Anyway, better still, have your significant other hide the power supply away in a place you will be forced to hunt for it, like searching for hidden Christmas presents. An example I often use is how I keep my riding lawnmower in my neighbor's garage with the justification that I just don't have the space in my own garage. Of course, living out in the boondocks means that my closest neighbor is quite a distance away, thus reducing my motivation to make the trek to retrieve the mower. This alone has saved me countless hours of needless lawn cutting. Heck, the grass is just going to grow back anyway, which is true. Okay, secret number 3. Avoid watching YouTube videos, reading magazines, and most of all, stay off of social media! Shielding yourself from an endless barrage of retro computing related content is a great way to keep your mind free to focus on more productive habits. The only thing more time wasting than playing a retro video game when you should be working or doing chores is watching a video about someone else playing a retro video game, or, worse still, reading an article about it. I have made it a rule that when I get the urge to view this type of content, to instead engage in more productive activities such as playing with my pets, fishing, or yes, even spending time with my wife. Okay, secret number 4. Volunteer your time to worthwhile causes. There's nothing more rewarding than taking positive action to improve the lives of others. Start a reading group at your local library to discuss books, magazines, and even articles in the daily newspaper. Just make sure no pesky retro computing related articles slip in by mistake. Join a walking club to explore the local countryside, and why not bring along some bags and pick up discarded trash while you're walking and kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Not literally, of course, in brackets. Having spent countless hours programming my own games, I only wonder how my time might have been better spent. Well, I actually enjoy programming my games, but I guess to each his own. Okay, secret number 5. Disassociate yourself from people in the retro community. Turn off notifications from the retro computing groups you belong to and only check them during specific times of the day or days of the week. Limit your exposure to the endless stream of distracting messages, or better yet, avoid them altogether by temporarily leaving certain groups that are particularly active. Restricting contact with people in the retro scene is a great way to free up loads of time to spend on non-retro related activities. Seems a bit harsh. Okay. All right, so that looks like that's all the normal secrets he has to share with us, because the next secret is titled Bonus Secret. So I mentioned about putting away your Speccy Next, but if you're anything like me, or most retro computer hobbyists for that matter, you probably have a multitude of retro video games, magazines, and other trinkets scattered about your man or woman cave. Consider giving these away or selling them on the Fleabay to not only free up space in your homestead, but also generate a nice chunk of change to save for a rainy day when you will no doubt discover your roof has a leak that needs to be repaired. Well, as a wise man once said, that's all I have to say about that. And I hope my little article has served to give you well-meaning kick in the keister to find time to step away from the illuminated pixels on the screen and step outside to soak in some natural light from that life-giving golden blob in the sky. Oh, and one last thing. Be sure to avoid the Spriteworks YouTube channel at all costs, as the information shown there is notoriously unreliable.